Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday, July 10th, 2015, and you are listening to Super Organizer Universe Radio. I'm James Law Jr., the Super Organizer. Yes, the Super Organizer. And I'm here to guide you through the next hour of some super organizing. I have two great guests, have some tips, all kinds of goodies for you today, this Friday. And I want to welcome you guys back because I was gone last week. We had a day off, 4th of July weekend. And I missed you guys. I really did. I missed having a radio show. So I am back and better than ever. And as always, I'd like to start off and say good morning to my partner in crime, radio, and all things electronic, Brian.
Brian, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We were off last week.
We were
Completely my fault.
I know you guys were all like, who's responsible for this? Like, it's him. No.
We can blame it. Brian at adrenalinradio.com. Email me your concerns and complaints.
And I'm sure he'll get back to you right away. So we are back today, and I'm very excited to be here. And as always, I like to give thanks and gratitude, which I do every week. And I always suggest that you guys do too, because living in gratitude every day for what you have and what you're given is a great thing. And giving thanks and saying it out loud is even better. I first want to give a thanks and gratitude to my cousin, Bobby Lott. She is my girl from, when she was born, her mother always tells a story how at 2 years old, I said, mine. And that's how it's been. And no matter where we've lived or where we are, we always check in with each other to see how we're doing and what's going on. One of the things about Bobby that I really love is that she's so accepting of me. I mean, that's all of me, whatever that is. And she completely holds no judgment. And whether we talk today or in a month from now or 6 months from now, we pick up right where we leave off, and there's no weirdness or craziness. It's just it's a lesson in just accepting people for who they are and loving them and taking judgment out of your life. And she's a great example of that. And she's funny, she's talented, she's an amazing teacher, she's an amazing dancer, she's a great artist, and just an all-around great human being. And I love you very much, Miss Bobby. My Grand Susie, who's holding it down in Brooklyn. That's right, girl. She is my homegirl. And you don't probably hear very often when you say your grandmother's your homegirl, but she is my homegirl. She is my fellow Taurus. That's right. We are two bulls. And so we have a language that's all our own. And whenever I go back there to see her, she completely just treats me like a king. And I treat her like a queen because she is the queen, of course. Or as you say in Spanish, la reina. And also, she is just such a nice person. She's like super, super sweet. And she always checks in on me. She always, again, when it takes a village to raise me, I always say that on this program. And she always checks in on me. She always sees how I'm doing. We watch some of the same TV shows. Kind of fun. We talk about that. It's just, I love my grandparents. And I've lost many of my grandparents over the years, as you do as you get older and they get older. So I really am holding on to her tight, even though we're 3,000 miles away from each other. I know I can call her anytime. And she'll answer the phone and be like, hi. And we just start talking. And it's just so great. So I just want to thank her for all she supports with me, what I do, and checking in with me. I really, really appreciate it. And I love her very much. And that just leads to all of my ancestors. I think it's very important to remember where you came from and who you come from. I come from a lot of hardworking people whose their hard work and their progression I carry on my shoulders. And I carry it nicely. I don't carry it heavily, or it's not a burden. It's just something that I carry with me as I walk through life. There are many things I'm doing today, like this radio show, was because of them, some of the work that they've done. My TV work that I do, same thing, many of the work that they've done. The fact that I can hold a job and own a house and many things in my life stem from the hard work that they put in so that I could be here today doing all the things that I love. So, and lots of rich history and culture, some of it good, some of it not so good. But again, taking judgment out of it, it makes all around my wonderful family that makes me who I am today. And they're with me and they carry with me all the time. So I want to thank them. Bacon. I love me some bacon. I tried to give it up. Some of you guys know that. I tried. I did a good 2 months. I just made a decision. Nah, bacon is God's meat. I love it. It's just so delicious. It goes with everything. It makes everything better. So I want to live in gratitude that there's bacon in the world. And I love me some bacon. So I've tried turkey. I've tried beef. I've tried all the other kinds of bacons. No. regular old, plain old bacon is the best. So I just want to live in gratitude that I can eat bacon. Now, lastly, and it's certainly not least at all, on more of a serious note, I want to do a mention because I do live in gratitude that I knew this person. I lost someone very close to me earlier this week, and very unexpectedly, to complications from cancer that she bravely fought off and on for the last 5 years. Her name was Laurel Mae Bond, and she was somebody that I met about 8 years ago when she was the managing editor at 944 Magazine in San Francisco. She and I met through a friend of ours in a professional capacity, but we completely became BFFs from the moment we met. And people who were around that time can totally verify that. We started hanging out. I used to go to these weird events with her. It was just so just wonderful to be around a person who loved life like I did. She was kind of like we were both kind of kindred spirits. She was kind of hippie-esque sometimes, and she liked her punk rock, and she liked her art. She was random, like I was. We just have the most random text sometimes. Like I just get just random text and make me laugh. So I will completely miss those, of course. She was a person who. This is what I really learned from her. She really shows that you should accept people for who they are. Whenever you're around her, you didn't feel like you're being judged. You could be a little quirky. You could be a little nerdy. You could be a little off to the left or to the right. But when you were with her and you were her friend. And you were in her orbit, it was fine. And that's something that, as long as you're not hurting people, it's okay to be different. And her world was a bunches of different people. And we all would come together when we were around her, and we felt really special. She leaves behind her husband, Brett, who she just was like her perfect life partner. And completely the last couple of years, he has done so much for her and to give her the care and love that she deserves. And they got married last year, and that was a great thing. So my heart goes out to him, of course, and to anybody else in the family and all her other friends, because I'm looking at her page, and it's one after the other, the same thing, about how nice she was, how nice she was, how nice she was. And I have said this before on here, it's okay to be nice. Nice should be the norm. Why not? So I love you, Miss Laurel, and I will be at your services, and I will be there and celebrating your life as you lived, and will continue to live with gratitude that I knew you. So those are my thanks and gratitude for today, for July 10th. And I encourage all of you to do the same thing. Think about what's going on in your life. It's easy to think about the bad things. It's easy to think about the negative things. But you're alive. So what's going on that's good? It could be something small. Just something really simple. That you live in gratitude that you had cereal this morning. Or that you woke up. Or that you're able to have water turned on in your house so you can actually take a shower. Whatever it is. So I suggest that to all of you. And like I said, I will continue doing that every episode of every show that I do for the rest of my unnatural life. So now I'm going to give you guys a tip. I'm trying to do this a little more here on the show. And this tip this morning is actually featured on my Facebook page, The Super Organizer, today. And it's also my blog post for today on the superorganizeruniverse.com. It's 3 common things to do to save time. Now, we're all busy. We got things going on. And I always think about the morning time when a lot of us have to work in the morning. You're running around doing 8 million things, and you're trying to wake up. So I always suggest you should do things while you're awake already. And what I mean by that is sometimes the day before, the night before, you can actually do some stuff that will save you time in the morning. It's all about time management, right? And in the morning, I just want to get ready. It used to be I'd get my coffee, but now I get my hot chocolate or tea, and I just want to kind of ease into my day, take my shower, get ready, work my eyebrows, whatever, get them all together. So here's some tips to save time. 1, place your purse, briefcase, cell phone, and or keys in a designated area every day. So find a place. Maybe it's by the door. Maybe it's outside your bathroom. Wherever you know that you will go every day to find them. So they will always be there. 2, maybe decide on a breakfast menu the night before. Some of you have kids, just like the night, or for yourself. You got to eat in the morning because you're hungry. Why not have it kind of ready? One suggestion that I used to do with my kids is have the cereal out with the bowls and the spoon at the table where they would eat. Of course, I didn't put the milk out because it would go bad. But it's just something that I was ready for them. So in the morning, that's one less thing I had to worry about. So just go there and they just do it. Also, maybe fill the gas tank. You know in LA, all those drivers, maybe do it the day before. So you don't have to worry about it. So you can just do it. If you're running low on gas, you can work that next morning, try to go to the gas station, do it the night before, do it after work. And just do it. Now, you can substitute any of those things with other stuff that you may do in the morning. Like some people take showers at night to save time in the morning. Or you can put your clothes out. I'm big on putting clothes out the night before. You just check the weather and put them out. Even if the weather changes slightly or a little dramatically, at least your underwear, socks, or stuff, they're out. You can change a shirt really quick sometimes. But sometimes the weather doesn't change that bad. Put them out there before. Also, you can also do, lunches. If the lunch is ready for the week. I say when you're awake, that's when you should do it. So the morning is easy and it flows nicely and it saves time. And for those of you who may not get a lot of sleep, you can actually add some minutes to your sleep if you have stuff done before, right? So you get up at 6:30, maybe you get up at 6:45 or 7. That's something you think about. You can find those on my Facebook page again on Super Organizer, and you can find them on the blog today, the superorganizeruniverse.com. So we're going to invite my first guest on. She's been a friend to the show. She's been on before. And she is somebody who is a North Carolina-based professional organizer, and she's the organizing person of Taylor Organizing, Miss Elizabeth Greer Taylor. Elizabeth?
Oh, hello. Sorry, I wasn't sure you were talking to me yet.
Well, I was talking to everybody, and then I was going to say, and Elizabeth, hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? How you been?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. It's a little, I can't complain about weather because you're in North Carolina, so I'm sure it's even hotter and humid there.
Yeah, it was like 100 degrees yesterday.
Oh.
Crazy.
I have to ask you, how do you, because we had some humidity here in LA last week, in which we cried, but it was nothing compared to, what you get every summer. So how do you find the motivation to work?
Well, you know what? I lived in Florida 13 years, so North Carolina does not seem that humid to me until your makeup melts off your face and you walk out and hit a wall of water. Then you think it's humid. But here, I don't know. They complain, but to me, it's not that bad. It's all relative.
It's all relative, right? Yeah, you just say you lived in Florida, so I get it. That I get. I've been in Florida. Ugh. Yes, and I don't know how you guys do it. It makes you want to stay inside.
Well, you do spend a lot of time swimming and going out in the evening.
Oh, yeah, and in the evening. Yeah, sometimes the evenings are great, actually. That's the one thing about having a humid, hot summer day. Usually the nights are perfect.
And you know what? When I lived in Florida, we laughed at the Northerners when their blizzards came along because we were out playing tennis and walking our dogs.
Yeah, I love it. Now, in North Carolina, do you have a porch or a backyard and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I have a nice big backyard because I have 2 big dogs, so
Ooh,
the dogs run around, and we have a big deck out there. So we've had a little more property than we did when we lived in Florida.
Wow, and I'm sure it's green out there too, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. North Carolina is incredibly green. The trees are really tall.
We miss it here in California. I want some greenery so bad. I miss it.
Well, you guys have no rain, right?
Nothing. Dry as a bone. Dry. Oh, my God. It's crazy. Well, thanks for coming back. Like I said, you're a friend to the show. You've been here. You've been on before. And I wanted to bring you back because I want to talk to you more about actually moving.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Moving.
And folks, if you hadn't listened before, she's been moving many times. So she is an expert in the field of how to pack up and move things around and pack out and pack in, right?
Yep. Oh, yes. At this point, yes.
Yeah, I like that. And so I wanted to go because folks out there, summertime a lot of times is a time for moving.
Yes. A lot of people do move between, let's say, March and September.
And so, do you find March too? Okay, so why in March and March, April? What's going on then? Do you think?
A lot of times people put their houses on the market right after the New Year, so right maybe February, and it sells faster than they think it's going to.
Yeah, I'm sure. Have you had a situation happen to you before where someone's like, I want you to help me, pack out and organize, and then it's like, oh my God, we got to hurry and do it now?
Yeah, it happened to me once too.
Oh.
So that's almost all the time when I get people who want me to pack them up. They needed it done yesterday, and they're calling you the day after. They're like, "Oh my God, I'm never going to get it done." So yeah.
I can pack and move. I mean, I've moved many times myself. I'm not a big fan.
Nobody is. No one is.
So we need people like you to help us out because I can do it, obviously, but I'm just not. I've never been a fan of moving. It's crazy.
Well, it is one of the top 5 stressors in life for a reason.
Yes, so, I can see that. Wait, what are the other 4? Do you know?
Like death, divorce,
yes.
losing your job.
Oh, yeah, those.
Kind of the big one.
Oh, yeah, I forgot those.
And a major illness. Having a major illness
right.
like cancer.
Right. Yes, that does make sense, doesn't it? Okay, well, Elizabeth, stay on the line. We got to pay a few bills. But Elizabeth Greer-Taylor with us in the next segment. We're going to go in-depth about her system of moving, philosophy, and some common mistakes, some tips. So stay with us on Super Organizer Universe Radio, and we'll be right back.
Hey, neighbor, get some sod put in?
Yeah, it's Marathon.
Yeah, that's what I got. But yours looks so much greener and thicker than mine. What's going on? I'm going to call the growers.
Southland Sod Farms, may I help you?
My Marathon sod doesn't look as good as my neighbor's.
Are you sure yours is Marathon?
That's what I asked for.
Let me do a computer search. We don't have a record of your delivery. You didn't get genuine Marathon sod.
What do you mean?
Sometimes unscrupulous contractors, retailers, and other sod farms lead you to think they're selling Marathon, but then substitute a lesser brand.
That really teased me off. How could I have known I got a cheap imitation?
Look for the bold, genuine Marathon label on the sod pallets when they're delivered.
Don't get cheated. Look for the genuine Marathon sod logo displayed by nurseries and landscape contractors at the Yellow Pages. Or call 1-800-4MARATHON for a free do-it-yourself video and authorized dealer list. That's 1-800-4, then Marathon. Or visit the website at www.sod.com.
With containers, there are a couple of things to be aware of. Containers can be heavy and get really hot. A solution I found is the Big Bag Bed from Smart Pots. They're lightweight. No, really, anyone from 3 to 93 can pick one up because they're made from an aeration fabric wholesale nurseries have been using for years. And they breathe, which is an important factor in developing stronger roots. Traditional containers don't do that. Grow this year's garden in a Big Bag Bed by Smart Pots, found at your local nursery, garden center, and online at smartpots.com.
Hi, this is Patty Sharkey of Sharkey HR Radio, where we're putting human back into resources. Every Tuesday here at adrenalineradio.com between 11 and 12 p.m. I know the workplace can be kind of scary, but we're hoping that this is a safe environment to call in your questions. You don't even have to say your real name. How fabulous is that? So give me a call or email me at sharkyhr@icloud.com, and I'd love to help you start to understand the workplace maybe just a little bit better. I'm here to listen to your questions and hopefully help you go through the system. Tuesdays, 11 to 12 on adrenalineradio.com. And I really hope to hear from you. Thanks so much.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets, my Facebook friends. Odds are fewer than 6 degrees separate us. We're that close. What's crazy is 1 in 6 don't know where their next meal is coming from. These are your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger's too close for us to ignore. So visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank to see how you can make a difference. From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We are back to Super Organizer Universe Radio. I'm James Law Jr., the Super Organizer, and we're talking with Elizabeth Greer-Taylor. Hi, Liz.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, what are some of the common mistakes people make when it comes to organizing a move?
Timing. I think people just don't want to do it, so they procrastinate, or they just don't realize how much time it actually takes to pack up a house. And they get to move today, and they're like, oh, my gosh, I'm not packed, or I have a week, and I still have 3/4 of my house not packed.
Ugh, yeah. Wow. So timing, that actually makes sense. I mean, but so how do you remedy that? How do you talk to people about timing?
Well, I tell them that they should try to pack up maybe a room it takes about 2 to 3 days to pack up a room if you want to not drive yourself bananas.
Okay.
And have the right packing material. I mean, there's another one of the mistakes that a lot of people don't have the right packing material, and really hard to pack quickly and efficiently. I know a lot of people still do this. Get your boxes from the back of the liquor store or the supermarket.
That's right.
Do not do that.
Don't do it, folks. Don't do it. I know it's cheaper, but don't do it.
Yeah, and then everybody thinks they can pack with newspaper. Newspaper is fine if you're like a college student. But once you graduate to a real house, please go buy the packing paper at the Home Depot or whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's basically you get Big Lots. Oh, you can find all kind of stuff, all kind of places that are not that expensive, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that expensive. And if you're a grown-up, pack like a grown-up.
Yeah, I like that. That's going to be our thing for today. If you're a grown-up, pack like a grown-up. I like that. I think I might hashtag that on Twitter. I like that. So time. So you're saying about most of the average rooms. You're saying give it 2 or 3 days to pack.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days easily.
Okay.
And you don't think when you go through your stuff, make sure you're actually packing stuff you want to keep. There are so many times where I'm unpacking a client and they're like, I don't know why I packed that.
Interesting. That's actually really good.
If that thought goes through your mind while you're packing it, don't pack it. Just give it away.
Yeah, because isn't it a good time to actually purge?
Oh yeah, it's the best time to purge. You have to touch every single thing in your house.
Right.
So
you do. Actually, you do. Right, you do. Every single thing in a house has to be touched. Right.
And so even if you're hiring someone to do it, at least stand there and think about what they're touching and packing. So it gives you a chance to get rid of stuff, and then you don't have to pay to move it because most moves are done by the pound.
Yes, they are.
So,
I know.
If you get rid of 25 pounds of stuff or 30 pounds of stuff, you're saving yourself a lot of money.
Now, let me ask you, have you had a situation in your own client base where they're actually downsizing, but they didn't downsize their move?
Oh, yeah. I was helping one client. She was trying to move to another state, and she just couldn't make a decision on anything. And
wow.
Everything we packed up, she unpacked, and it was just it was frustrating. I realized after a while I couldn't really help her. She couldn't make any decisions.
Yeah.
And I started packing stuff and making it really hard for her to unpack it by taking it a lot.
Yeah, I like that. So basically, I mean, it goes back to what you just said. It's about purging, going through what you're touching to pack up. That will determine how successful, I guess, your move will be.
Yes. Giving yourself enough time, packing it correctly, and thinking about what you're packing are my 3 biggest pieces of advice to my clients.
Perfect.
So that if you're more deliberate and not hair on fire, panic, the movers are coming tomorrow,
yes.
Then you can have a really successful move.
Mm-hmm. And in your own practice, do you also supervise the pack in some of your clients? Like, do you do the pack out and then the pack in and getting it organized, or?
Most of my clients are generally on the unpack side.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So some of my clients do have me pack, but a lot of times the moving companies have people pack you, and that's why a lot of people just, they're like, okay, I'm having movers come and pack me. But on the other side, they realize the movers dropped off all the boxes. They don't know what's in them. They're working. Their kids are off at school, and they're like, they unpack all over the floor.
Right. And
then they can't get to anything and don't know where anything is.
What do you recommend in terms of labeling boxes and bins? Do you the old method of markers? Do you like labels? Do you like sizes? Do you have some kind of system there?
So I'm a big fan of Sharpies.
Me too.
I mean, everybody can read Master Closet, right?
Yes, right.
So I'm a big fan of Sharpies. In terms of packing with boxes, like I said, no supermarket boxes.
No, we're done.
Go and get yourself the right boxes.
Right.
Your wardrobe is really easy to pack if you have a wardrobe box.
I love those. Yes.
They're fantastic.
Oh my God.
They save you a ton of time.
I agree. Totally agree. And I don't know if people even, and if you don't know, if folks, if you don't know about wardrobe boxes, they're bomb. They're so good, especially for if you have coats and jackets and dresses, and I mean, they really come in handy. They're so easy to maneuver.
Yeah, and they're easy to unpack too.
Yes.
I mean, I just unpacked a client yesterday, and she had 2 wardrobe boxes, you cut them open and they have the little metal rack on top.
Yeah.
And you pull the stuff right out and hang it up.
Right.
And none of your clothes get wrinkled. None of your clothes or disappear into the abyss of paper or anything else.
Right. So she's a fan of the Sharpies, folks. I am too, actually. I'm like, it's so easy to write. And do you actually, because I want to get to some of the logistics, do you actually write on all sides of the box? Do you write on top? Where do you generally think?
I write on top, and I usually write on at least 3 sides because you never know how it's going to go in.
Yes.
Usually there's one side of the top sticking out.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of, big letters, master closet. I like a lot of people write in their nice little neat handwriting, and the movers are not looking at that. They're looking for in your face, bold red. I like red when I'm moving. Red.
Oh, okay. That's actually a really good point because they're glancing. They're looking at. They have a lot of boxes, or stuff. So they're glancing at it. It should be easy for them to read and to see.
Oh,
it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's something I didn't think about that as much. I mean, I write big also, but that's actually a really good point. So it goes to the right spot where it's supposed to go. And also, you recommend too, or not? You recommend they write exactly where it's supposed to go, right? Or what it's inside. Like it's bathroom, like really simple, right?
And write what bathroom. And the nice thing is, so I tell my clients, don't write where specifically it came from. Write to where you want it to go. So if you have a closet downstairs in your house in one house, but in the next house, that stuff is going to go in the upstairs closet, write upstairs closet on it.
Wow.
Otherwise, it'll end up in the wrong place.
That's true.
And then you're the one schlepping the box.
I like that, actually. That's something very interesting. Right where it needs to go to. Because I think the first instinct is, well, this all came from the bathroom. And you're like, well, now where's it going to go in the new place? I like that, actually. So right where it goes to. What is your overall philosophy on moving?
My overall philosophy is that something will go wrong. So just take it in stride. I mean, there's always going to be a glitch. There's always going to be something that happens that wasn't expected or planned, either time-wise or movers don't get there or they're delayed or something gets broken. Just expect it. Just go with the flow. It's so stressful that you just expect the unexpected.
Yeah, I think it's also it's basically just forgiving yourself already. Or something goes on, or something happens. Just don't panic. You can handle it.
Right.
It's going to come up. Inevitably, something's going to happen. I mean, a box is going to break, or a driver will be late, or something's going to happen. Just don't worry about it. It's going to be fine.
Right. That's basically, and just know that 6 months from now, you'll be unpacked, everything will be okay, you'll be settled in, keep your eyes on the future a little bit, and just try to get through it knowing that there's a light at the end of that tunnel.
What has been, in your own life, what was your easiest move and what was your hardest move?
Oh, my personal moves, I've got some funny stories. So my easiest move was from Richmond to Raleigh. That was my easiest move. They came, they packed me. We had the movers pack me. This was before I was an organizer. It was about 5 years ago. Okay. They came, they packed me. They were very professional and friendly. I had moved so many times before that I had packed a lot of my own stuff. And they came, they packed me, they left. They came to my new house, and I had my house unpacked in 3 weeks.
Wow.
I mean, the pictures were hung on the wall, and my husband and I just went to town and did it.
Oh my God.
Now, my worst move was my move from Florida to Richmond. That is a story. I had the movers come.
Okay.
And the person who owned the truck, and I will not name any names, the person who owned the truck, got into an argument with his brother who was helping him move, and he left. So then there were 2 guys. And then the other guy went into some kind of diabetic incident.
Oh, my God.
And he left.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And meanwhile, there's a lot of screaming in my front yard.
Oh, my God.
And I lived in Florida, so a lot of people speak Spanish.
Yes.
I know enough Spanish to know what they were saying.
Okay, you got it.
Nice words.
Yeah.
And then the mover got very angry and got very aggressive, and I ended up having to call the head of the customer service department for the national company and telling him that the next time this guy sees me, he needs to be escorted by somebody who either works for the company or I was going to call the police.
Wow, that's crazy. You're just trying to move.
And you know what? My husband had already moved up to Richmond, and I was doing it with my kids who were at that point 2 and 4.
Oh, my God.
So I had my kids and the movers and all of this going on, and he just lost it. And he was screaming and yelling, and I'm like, we all speak Spanish. I'm sorry. We all understand what you're saying.
Yeah, right. Oh, my God. Oh, Liz. Well, Liz, actually, our time is actually up, and I need to have you back again. I just want you to come. You'll be one of my resident people. Just come back again to come on my show if you'll have it.
Oh, I love talking to you, James.
Yeah, same here.
You're a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I can't wait to actually meet you.
We're going to meet one day. We are going to meet one day. Well, you have a great weekend. Thanks for being on. I'll talk to you on the interwebs.
Thanks. I'd love to talk to you, too. I can't wait to see you in person, and have a great weekend for you, too.
Thank you. Take care. So we'll be back with Jenny Peterson on Super Organizer Universe Radio.
Hi, everyone. This is Chuck Harold with my co-host,
Paul Tally-Ho Bristow,
from Security Guy Radio. Regard is a verb, not a noun. Every Monday night at 7 p.m., we challenge the conventional wisdom of the security industry with our plain talk experience, humorous stories, and answers from the top security experts in the field. Tune in each week for the latest security news, enlightening interviews, and a look at a featured security gadget or service.
Join us on the web at securityguyradio.com.
And listen every Monday night at 7 p.m. exclusively on AdrenalineRadio.com.
What up, cool world? I'm Zion.
And I'm Leland from the band Blue Noise.
To discover new artists, musicians, and more, listen to In Transit Radio Live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. on Adrenaline Radio.
And InTransitRadioLA.com.
Support local talent.
Artists. Oh, talent.
That too.
Shoot.
We are back. Super Organizer Universe Radio. And I'm excited for my next guest who's calling in. She is from Wisconsin, and she is a business optimizer. I love that name. Her name is Jenny Peterson. Jenny?
Hello, James. It's Jenny.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Good.
Good. The folks out there, she is the owner of Love to Transform. And like I said, she's a business optimizer. I love that name. Can you explain what that is, Miss Jenny?
Well, basically, I work specifically with small businesses, and all of the things that I offer as far as organizing, helping with time management and efficiency, productivity, all of that comes down to we're optimizing your business. So what can I help you with to take out, whatever is causing inefficiencies in your business, preventing you from growing, and once you take those snags away, I guess, if you want to call it, you can optimize your business. So that's where the name came up with.
I love the name. I've been to Wisconsin, through Wisconsin once at General Mitchell Airport in Milwaukee.
Oh, okay.
That's nice small. I'd love to go back, actually. I heard there's some kind of music festival that happens during the summertime there. And
I believe it's Summerfest in Milwaukee.
Summerfest, yes.
I'm way up. Yeah. I'm way up in the north in Eagle River. I'm way north, so I'm almost opposite of Milwaukee. But I know that I think Summerfest is what goes on.
So are you near Canada?
We are near the Michigan border.
Oh, Michigan. Okay, Michigan. I'll get my geography together. I'm like, I think I know that area.
Yeah, we're about 20 minutes from the Michigan border, so we're pretty north.
You're very north.
Yes.
So you're very, very north. So, okay, so you are also a NAPO member.
Yes.
And so, how long have you been with them, actually, as a member?
I would have to only say it's been about a year.
Okay. You're like me. We're newer members.
Yeah.
What have you found? Any benefits so far?
Oh, huge benefits. And I initially signed up for it. I wanted to take some classes, so I took some small classes through what they had to offer, and then the forum that is on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. And I just love that because I put in questions. I found out about you through that forum.
Yes, you did.
It's just a great resource.
It is. I agree. I joined about a year ago also. I went back and forth for a few years. I've been in business for like 6 years. So I went back and forth. And once I joined, I have seen some really great benefits. to being a NAPA member?
Well, and I will have to say, I actually got a phone call yesterday from a woman from Texas that saw my name on the website, and she's actually coming up to Eagle River next week to vacation, and she wanted to hook up with me and talk about organizing. So.
I love that. You see,
yeah, isn't it great?
I always tell people, I said this on the show before, I get a natural high when I'm around other organizers. I do. I don't need booze or anything. Give me some organizers, and I'm like smiling from ear to ear. I love it. But how funny is it? Someone's coming from Texas to Eagle River. I mean, that's amazing.
We get people from all over the world up here. I don't know if you've ever been in Eagle River or Door County. They're all big tourist areas, and people come up here. A lot of people have second homes up here for the summer.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, there's a variety of people from all over the world that come this direction.
Now, do you have other organizers in your area at all, or are you like the only kind of one up there?
Well, our population is about 1,500 people, and I haven't run into another organizer at this point
Oh
yet. We've lived here for only 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So, it's not like I know everybody yet, but, I do talk to a lot of people, and people say, are you sure you can make it up here? And with the help of technology and being able to, expand the business and beyond just working one-on-one, being in a small community, it was fine. So.
Have you ever done any virtual organizing?
I have not done anything like that.
Yeah,
a majority of what I do is actually in programs.
Okay.
I did work one-on-one for about a year with businesses and found that I really love working with groups. So, and I also found that, when you work with one-on-one, oftentimes you're having to come back because they're not implementing, the whole gist of it. It's about time management. It's about systems. And without establishing all of that, the organizing has a tendency to go back to what it used to be. So I incorporate it in a program form and much more effective in that form as far as what I've seen. So.
I think it's great that you work with small business because I work with I'm a small business, obviously, and I work with some small business in terms of helping with filing and organizing their office because I guess I have found with a small business, it's way different kind of attitude than a larger business because you're doing everything.
Yes. Well, that's where the problem comes in. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you come in, you're like, okay, I'm going to help you optimize this and delegate, I guess, and time manage everything. That's what you basically come in and do, correct?
Yeah. Well, that's what it's really about. As a small business owner, you're not a big company that you can delegate all this work, to 10, 20, whatever it is, employees. Mm-hmm. You might have one or two people that help you out. And as a small business owner myself for 15 years, I was overwhelmed and said, what is this? What am I doing? And it really comes down to is the small business owner does too much. Mm-hmm. So it's about simplifying, taking things away that aren't necessary, and then also optimizing and, incorporating efficiency and productivity in their time. Because their time is what is the most valuable thing that we have to be working with here that, once it's gone, it's gone.
Sure is. What are a couple of common time management areas that you find with small business?
What I find is most small business owners show up to work every day and think they have an intent of what they're going to do, and then all of a sudden they let the world kind of tell them what to do.
Ah, yes.
So, the phone starts ringing, the emails, dings go off, and all of a sudden their intention that they started out with was really good, and by the end of the day they don't have any of that done because they're busy just letting everyone else kind of determine what to do.
True.
So, that's the biggest frustration on small businesses because they think that they have to answer every single phone call, think that they have to answer every email immediately. It comes down to is we teach people how to treat us. So if we tell everybody that we're available 24/7, that's the reaction they're going to expect. So it is about becoming more disciplined on how you manage your time and choosing when you're going to do it as well. And I think that's the biggest helper that most small businesses really have told me that it helps them determining some type of routine task. Determining, don't do orders every day. Every Wednesday is order day, and you do it at this time. Have it being something that make your list of everything that you do every week and determine what you can, establish as routine tasks and put it in on certain days so you don't have to even think about it. If it's Monday, you say, I'm not worrying about orders today because that's on Wednesday.
Well, you bring up a very, very, very excellent point. is I've learned this in the last 6 months myself. Because, I'm a professional organizer, but I'm also a business owner. So you'd think I would,
Right.
I know better. But I am learning. And one thing that I did, because you said something that just really was big for me, was you teach people how to treat you. And that's in real life, period, anyway, right, folks? But also in business. And so I stopped working on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very strict on that. And people had a hard time. They would still call, and I didn't answer the phone.
Okay.
They call. I have a work phone and a regular phone. They call a work phone. I put the work phone. I turn it off. I said, unless it was something pre-discussed, and that was going to be like, okay, on Saturday I might call you because of blank. Otherwise, there's no reason for you to call me. You call me on Monday morning, and I had to train people. If people would call, I pick up the phone, and it's like, well, I was just calling you, and it was just nothing. It was no emergency. It was nothing.
Exactly.
It was nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing good. The house wasn't falling apart. It wasn't like they were trying to find something that I helped put away. It was just literally they wanted to talk about something, or they had time on the weekend. And I'm like,
Right.
well, I don't work weekends. So when you said that, I'm like, that's so true, because in the beginning, I felt I had to be available all the time.
That's just most, us small business owners have these huge hearts, and they're out because we have a passion and we want to help people, and we think helping people means available all the time. And in the beginning, if you start that, what happens is those customers are going to continue holding on because they love how you treat them.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, when you decide that it's too much because now you have double the amount of clients and you can't do that one-on-one, calls anytime that you want, and you start to change things, then all of a sudden they get mad.
Yes.
And it's not their fault.
No.
It's your fault.
No.
You taught them that.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say from the get-go, get your rules of where you're going to draw the line. And if you don't draw the line now, you're going to end up drawing it later, and it's going to be more difficult to go back.
God, you're like speaking my life. Oh, you're telling you know what you're talking about. You're speaking my life. Crazy. So,
I've been there, done that. I did 12 years of owning a retail store that I taught people how to treat me, and they burned me out. So
wow.
I learned a lot.
So you worked at a retail. So you worked at a retail. You did retail too. So can you say what store it was, or no? Just some store.
Excuse me.
Can you say what store it was you worked at, or no?
I owned a health and wellness store for 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I had a juice bar inside, and I also managed a lot of restaurants previous to that. So I've been in the service world, and then I, of course, did one-on-one consultations with clients. So I've done all the form of businesses that you can do, and I've learned so much from all of those, and that's where my heart is at in understanding every small business owner of what they're going through. And what they're going through is overwhelmed doing too much. And, also, like what we just talked about, is teaching your customers how to treat you is huge.
That is. Now, that also blends into, this is a little side thing, it also blends into your pricing and stuff. You have to really stay firm on what you feel you're worth in the beginning.
Correct.
None of the wishy-washy, like, oh, maybe I'll, you can't do that. You got to do it in the beginning because people will see that and read that.
Well, absolutely. And if you don't show people that you value who you are and that you stand firm on those prices, they are not going to look at you as that expert.
Yes.
They're not going to value your services. So, that's when it comes to being a business optimizer of what I do, it isn't just organizing. It's organizing how you even think about how to do a business. It's who's your ideal client. And if a person says, I can't afford that, it's okay. Don't change your price just to, try and get that sale.
Right.
Because that's going to undermine your value of who you are.
I agree. I completely agree. And when I had to set my target market in the beginning and all that, a lot of people that I work with are older people. And so, I'm firm. My pricing so far is working and everything, but it's just like, I had to make sure, set it now and just go for it and see what happens. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. So that actually leads into, how did you come to do this? You did all these other, you owned your own place, you did, worked in retail, food. So how did you come to have your own business as an optimizer?
It actually came after I sold my health store. I actually sold my health store thinking it would be the best thing to do because, of course, I make good money by selling it, and it'd still be available to all those clients, so they still had a heart for wanting to help. And within 6 months of selling the store completely closed after 12 years.
Wow.
And it made me think, what did I do wrong? And I actually started working as a director's position at a local business where I used to live. And the guy came up to me, and he was part of the board, and he said, "I think you need to read this book." And I said, "I'm open to learning," and it was the book of E-Myth.
Oh.
And once I read that book, I said, I know exactly what I did wrong. And I became literally obsessed about organizing businesses and realized I wished I would have had all these tools when I had mine, but now I understand, how small business owners feel. I went through all of it, and I know the resolution now, the solution to, fixing why we feel that the way that we do. If it wasn't for that book, I would even, gotten to where I am today.
That's great. I just think you took something from your past and then you've made it work into a present and future. I love that. So we're gonna pay a few bills, but we'll be back. Stay on the line, and we'll be back with Jenny Peterson after this.
Hi, this is Paul McCartney on behalf of RAD. If you're drinking, you can't drive my car or any car. And remember, don't drink and drive. It's just not worth it.
But you can do something in between. Maybe you can drive my car.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Close your eyes in Chicago, and you can hear the sound of zebra braying in Africa. Look hard out your window in D.C., and you can see the snow-covered peaks of the Andes. Stand on a corner in L.A. and feel the hot wind of the Sahara brush across your face. The world is that small. We are that connected. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together, making it so simple for you to make a difference. Because we are many, and we are one. Please visit us at earthshare.org to learn more. Earthshare. One environment. One simple way to care for it all. A public service message from Earthshare and the Ad Council.
Tropicana Bakery and Cuban Cafe. Come and experience our sweet tradition of sweets, pastries, and incredibly delicious Cuban food. At Tropicana, we offer a bohemian, nostalgic-like atmosphere. In Spanish, we say, es la hora de tertulia de café, which is the moment of drinking coffee and having a great time with friends and family. At Tropicana Bakery and Cuban Cafe, we have an array of exquisite coffees. We have an array of desserts, of pastries, empanadas, sandwiches, and Cuban food. Come to Tropicana Bakery and be blown away by the Caribbean-like atmosphere and flavor profile. Tropicana Bakery and Cuban Cafe is located in the city of Downey. The address is 10218 Paramount Boulevard, virtually on the corner of Paramount and Florence.
We are back at Super Organizer Universe Radio. I am James Lott Jr., the Super Organizer. Yes, the Super Organizer. And I'm here with Jenny Peterson. Hi, Jenny.
Hello.
Oh, my God, there you are. Yay. You're here. Everything you're saying, I said, is just resonating with me so much. And I hope listeners out there, that I know I'm on TV, too. I TV host also, so I'm just saying viewers. Listeners out there, that you're hearing what she is saying. It's just such great stuff. I also want to touch just briefly, you mentioned on your website about Feng Shui.
Yes. So
can you give us a few thoughts on that in terms of small business?
Sure can. When it comes to Feng Shui, simple organizing is a form of Feng Shui, because what you're doing is, you're making things to be in flow, and there's not any stagnation because things are put into proper places and we're not stacked up and having all these piles of papers everywhere that cause stagnation. And when I say that is, in the office, what is our most typical areas that are probably the most piled up or cluttered is the top of your desk.
That's right.
Or, your file cabinet. But to determine how really feng shui works in a space, the best visual I can give you is by saying that you're going to pour water on the top of that desk. Okay? And when you pour water on that desk, if there's no paper sitting there and there's no clutter, the water just pours off real nicely, and that flow of water just continues to flow, right?
Right.
So if you have stacks of, clutter, whether it's on your desk or on your floor or wherever it is, pouring water into those locations, all this water is going to sit and pool. And when that pools around the clutter and all these piles of things that we have, that water sits. And so that water represents energy, in which that energy isn't moving and can cause stagnation in areas of our life and in our business. And I think it really resonates with people when you walk into a room that is organized and you can see the top of the desk versus an office that isn't. It makes you feel completely different. And that's really what feng shui is about, is being able to have that balance in a space and really feel like the room is balanced. And I would have to say, in a small business, really focus on your office, because ultimately it's probably on a level you're probably not even feeling or knowing, is that it's affecting your productivity and how you think, and how you're able to even finish projects. Because if you have all this stuff in front of you, it can sometimes cause overwhelm and cause you to not be even able to focus. So feng shui in the office is huge, and always have your desk facing the door to where you can see the door. Never have your back to the door. That is a big feng shui rule. If you always want to see what's coming in your life and your business door, and it's kind of a metaphor that way, is make sure your desk is being able to face, when you're sitting at it, see the door and have see the people come in.
My desk is facing the doors, so I like that.
Good.
I do. No, I mean, I love all that. I mean, yeah, it totally makes sense. Completely makes sense. And I'm all about energy. So
yeah. Well, and think about when your back is to the door, or back to the door of anywhere. How do you feel? You're constantly feeling like you got to look over your shoulder, not knowing if someone's there. And do you really want to work kind of in that, kind of that feeling of where you're always wondering? That doesn't make you feel very relaxed and help you to think at all. True. So feng shui is all about metaphors. It really is, in my perspective. It could be in other levels what other people think, but if you really look at it, it's metaphorically what's going on in your life and in your business. So the clutter is big. Your office is big, as well as your desk position. The other thing is if you have a doorway to your business, make sure that path is nice and clean. It flows well. You may have some flowers along the pathway. Make sure your door opens well and the door is attractive. If you're an in-home business owner, make sure that the pathway to your office is attractive and that you don't feel frustrated walking to your office. I actually started out in my current home where my office was in the basement, and it was like a long walk just to get to my office, and I found that I did not want to work in my office. And I finally said, I'm moving this office to the front, of the house upstairs, and totally different, where I can shut the door when I'm not working on my business, and more than, easy to walk in when I need to be there. But this long walk of walking through my basement and, the darkness and the dampness, all that comes with the basement is not attractive to an office. So make sure the environment is pleasant when you walk into your space, because you don't want to be frustrated or see all this stuff that you have to do before walking in your office either.
So true. And it's funny. I just thinking right now, as I'm picturing my home office, I'm also facing a window. I'm not against the window, but I'm facing a window. I can see it. And sometimes I do kind of look outside and look at the beautiful weather sometimes.
Right, absolutely. If you can, don't have your back up to the window if possible.
Yeah.
Just like the door, you don't want your back, but you can see out a window as well as see your door.
Okay.
That's a great position to be in.
Yeah, I like that. Oh my God, you're like my new best friend. I love it. Why don't we live closer? This is crazy. So much valuable information. So I asked my guests, because sadly our session is coming to a close. You have to come back on, Jenny. You have to come back on.
Oh, definitely. I have so many topics to talk
I know. We're gonna email and we're gonna talk. I want you. You can be like one of my resident people too. That's why I just have to keep calling you to come back on, because these go by so fast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. But I asked 2 questions of every guest, the same 2 questions. So. And everybody at home, of course, I don't rehearse them with anybody. I ask the guests just right on, as we're talking. And here's the first question, Miss Jenny. What word do you think should be eliminated from our vocabulary?
Just one word.
Yes.
Oh.
If you have a phrase, that's fine. I had one person did give me a phrase once, and that's fine too.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is saying it's hard.
Ooh.
You know, like making money is hard. Growing my business is hard.
Right. Getting clients is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And, take away that thing that you're automatically, that word, that when you say business is hard, making money is hard, it really already sets it up in your mind that that's what it is,
right.
and you're convincing yourself of that. So
right.
I just get the word hard out. Everything, flows as it should, as long as you're open to, things happening the way they're meant to be. So when you say it's going to be hard, it's going to be hard, and I don't like that word.
I like that's very good. I like that. And what word do you think we should add into our daily vocabularies?
Well, I knew you were going to ask that, actually. So,
and what's your answer? What say you?
My answer is simplify, of course.
Yes, of course. and so just to expand on that just quickly, you want to expand on that? Just simplify meaning?
Meaning take out the complication of everything. As a small business owner, whether you own a business or you don't, I mean, a lot of what I talk about is relatable to in life as well. It's very, very much in common with what you're going, your home is a business. And what I say is simplify things. If you have, a list of 10 for the day, simplify it to 3, because 10 is too overwhelming and it's just not going to happen.
Right.
And, just simplify the way that you're thinking maybe about things. Sometimes we just overcomplicate how we're thinking. We just take one step at a time rather than thinking that we're going to just take, the whole thing by a whole big chunk.
Right.
Just break it down.
Break it down. I like that. Mm-hmm. Now, Jenny, where can the folks find you online?
Online, I'm actually in a kind of a transformation myself, but you can, either website that you go to, it leads you to the same thing. So my website is love2transform.com, and that's with the number 2. But the website is actually changing to simplifywithjenny.com.
Oh, okay.
So you can go to either one, and you will forever be connected.
Mm-hmm.
But I am in transition right now because I did initially start working with homes and businesses, and have now transitioned to just business. So things have changed a little bit. I'm growing, which is a good thing. But I also had to simplify myself in my own business. So
hey, see, I mean, we do work on ourselves too. I mean, come on, that's what happens. Yes.
What we're working on, we're teaching others. We need ourselves first.
Yeah.
And it was that way with all my businesses in the past. I needed what I was teaching others more than anyone else did, whether they knew it or not. And now what I'm teaching, I needed it well before I'm teaching it as well. So that's a message that I think we really need to listen to, is what we're attracted to is what we need.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Miss Jenny, for being on.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I would love to come back.
Yes, I want to have you back, and we'll talk about that offline, of course.
Sure, sounds good.
So you have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
So everyone, basically, this episode is about time management. My tips that I gave, my 2 guests, Elizabeth Greer Taylor and Jenny Peterson. Thank you both for being on here, of course. It's all about time management. Whether it's your business, your home, your life, it's all about finding ways to make things work for you, working smarter, not harder, right? That's the big thing. We'll be back here again next week. Of course, I'm back again. I'm so excited. Next July 17th. And I'll be back at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Of course, everything you heard today is on my Facebook page, Jenny, Elizabeth, my tips, and that's / The Super Organizer. You can also find their stuff on my blog, thesuperorganizeruniverse.com, the granddaddy of all of them, thesuperorganizer.com. And, of course, if you want to, you can check out a lot of my stuff on my YouTube page. Yes, I have a YouTube page. It's The Super Organizer James Lott Jr., all just one sentence. You can see all my goodies on there, TV, radio, everything on there. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it all, and have a great week.
If you're an entrepreneur and business person, you know that without advertising, a terrible thing happens. Nothing.
Increase your local, national, or worldwide sales by advertising right here on Adrenaline Radio. We have a sales rep that can custom tailor a campaign that will benefit both you and your business. Call 562-945-6469 before your competition does. That's 562-945-6469. Yeah, adrenalineradio.com.